Hi everyone, you're all welcome back to the sewing tutorial of this Conical Bustier corset. If you're yet to watch the drafting part of it, it's already up on the channel. Please do check that out before watching this one. A big thank you to all my subscribers, and if this is your first time of being here, thank you for joining us. I went ahead to place my pattern paper on my lace and the satin fabric before cutting out. Okay, for the satin fabric, I cut out about 4 pieces. 2 pieces will serve as lining, while the other 2 will serve as base for my lace. I went ahead to leave ½ inch at the top for sewing allowance. And also the other 2 pieces, I already used it as base for the lace. What I did was to place the lace on the satin fabric just like this, and I used my hemming gum to attach them together using a steaming iron. I also added interfacing to the fabric. I used paper stay. For the front part of my corset, I already went ahead to join them together, but I'll explain how I went about that. So what I did was to place my pattern paper on the side. For the sides, I cut out 2 pieces of it. I placed it on my fabric and I cut out, and also remember to leave ½ inch at the top for your sewing allowance. I didn't add ½ inch to the side again because I already added wide drafting on my pattern paper. Remember when I took my dart, which was supposed to be 3.5, and I added ½ inch for sewing allowance, making it 4 inches. For the center front, make sure you place your fabric on fold before cutting. The same thing I did for the back is what I also did for the front. So I cut out 2 pieces of each of this pattern for the front. Okay, I've already used 1 set of the piece as base for my lace. And you can see I also added interfacing to the lace fabric and also to my lining fabric. Then I placed them on each other using ½ inch. I went ahead to sew it all the way down. I did same thing with the lining piece as well. I'll be attaching my boning to the lining fabric. I've gone ahead to mark out how I want my bonings to be placed. Okay, you can see the markings at that point. From the armhole, I went in by 2 inches. All right, and then at the top, I came down by ½ inch. I'll be caging this bust, so all I'll be doing is to follow the markings I made at the upper part. I'm going to be using Regilene boning for this process. I also went ahead to leave ½ inch at the hem of the corset blouse to make it easier when attaching the lining with the main fabric. Okay, so I won't be attaching any boning to the main fabric. For the yoke, I went ahead to place my pattern paper on the fabric, the lace fabric and my satin, and I cut out 2 pieces each. Also, I added my sewing allowance at this point. I used 0.7 inches at that point, and also at the sides, I went ahead to also add ½ inch. This is for the front yoke. I cut out 2 pieces of the lace and also of the satin as well. I'm going to be using the satin to turn the neckline for the lace. Alright, so I'll use ½ inch to sew it all round like that. Okay, I'm going to place it on it like this, and I'll use ½ inch to sew it. For the back yoke, I'll place it on it like this, and I'll sew it using ½ inch like this all the way down to that point. After caging my bust, I went ahead to flesh it. I used my hemming gum and a steaming iron to attach the fiber. Forgive me, I forgot to record that part. Okay, so for the back part, I created where I'll be placing the eyelet in between these bonings, and I'm going to be using the double boning technique. I'll be adding a plastic bone into that Regilene bone already placed there. So this is what the front part is looking like. You can see what we have. All right, so the next thing is to attach the yoke to the lace fabric. This is the yoke for the back. This one is for the front. This is to create the Queen Anne neckline. So I'm going to be placing it on it, right face facing each other, and I'll use 1/2 inch to sew it down. I'll do the same thing with the back part of our corset. I'm going to place it right face facing each other as well, and using 1/2 inch, I'll sew it down. If you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe, like, comment, and also share our videos. Turn on your post notification bell so you're updated when I upload a new video. This is what we have after sewing it for the front. The next thing is to attach the lining piece to the lace fabric. I'm going to use my pins to hold it down like this. I'll go over to my sewing machine. I'll use 1/2 inch to sew it down. Also, I'm going to sew it at the hem. The point to note is that the lining piece is 1/2 inch shorter than the actual fabric, the lace fabric. And this is to prevent the lining from peeking out after you're done sewing and to give your blouse a neat finishing. So you can see what I have, the difference at that point. I'm going to be doing same thing with the back pattern as well. Alright, I'll go over, I'm going to place the lining piece on it like this and also sew it all around using 1/2 inch. After sewing, this is what I have. You can see how neat it's looking on the inside. Alright, so the next thing is to sew the sides together. That's connecting the front and the back piece together. I'm going to place it like this, and I'm going to use the body measurement to sew it down. I'll also join it at the shoulder. I'll pick a piece from the back. I'll pick the lining piece from the back, and I'm going to wrap it to the front. I'll use 1/2 inch to sew it down. At the end, it will have a neat finishing. I'm done sewing. This is what I have. I'm done joining the sides and the shoulders. This is what our corset blouse is looking like. This is the back. I also went ahead to attach my eyelet. I spaced it using 1.5 inches in between each of the eyelets all the way down. So now I'm going to be attaching a bone to the side of this corset blouse to give it structure. So what I'm going to do is to create a boning casing at the sides. I'll go on and trim off the excess I have at this point. Okay, I'll trim at both sides of my corset. I've already gone ahead to cut out this fabric, which is 2 inches in width. Unfold is 1 inch. I'll fold it like this, and I'm going to place it at the side and create my boning channel. So I'll place it from the armhole part, and I'm going to sew it from one side down first. Then I'll sew it at the other side again. I'm done doing that, and I also went ahead to attach my sleeve. I have a tutorial on the channel, a very detailed one on how to draft a basic sleeve pattern. This is just a basic sleeve. All right, I'm going to be linking a card up and also be dropping the link to the basic sleeve tutorial in the description box. Another thing I did to give this corset the structure that I wanted, to have that conical effect at that edge, was to place a Regilene bone at that point. So this is how I went about it. All right, I just cut out a Regilene bone of about 5 inches in length, and I placed it like this, which gave me the exact structure that I needed at that point. You can also case the boning for a neat finishing. Thank you for staying tuned to this point. Do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share our videos. See you in my next video. Bye.